this video, we're going to look at how to multiply a number by 55. We are almost like, after every video, we are from the previous 3 videos, we've been looking at multiplying a number by 50, 55, 45, like numbers that are close to 50. And that's why today I want us to look at how to multiply a number by 55. Now, this is also interesting. There are also some key elements that we have to take care of or to consider. Basically, what I call thought processes, like what is going on behind your mind, like on your mind, when you get a number and you have to multiply it by 55. There's so few steps that you have to always think about. First of all, in the previous video, we looked at how to multiply a number by. When we looked at how to multiply a number by 50 and 45, it was easy. So now, step 1, what we need to actually consider here is like, normally we have to, in this case, because 55 is more than 50. So we have to do what's called demote 55 to 50. Like, we don't promote it, we demote it, like we make 55, we reduce 55 to 50, because in the previous videos, I showed how to quickly do a calculation with a number like 50. If you multiply any number by 50, if you divide any number by 50, I showed how to do that. And now there's an easy method to do that. And that's now why I want us to reduce 55 to 50 so that we quickly do that maths. And then later we add the part of 50 of 5 that is remaining. So that's going to be easy. So then the second step, so let's say second step, we are going to look at the product. So then we're going to say the number. So let's say if we have X, we're going to multiply that number by 50 instead of 55, like you remember. And then the third step is going to be when we get the number, like the product here. So the product that we get, we are actually going to get 10% of that product. So this is just like, this is just theory part, like what the thought process is actually, what's happening behind, in your brain when you see the number. So we're going to look at 10% of the product. And then the fourth step is when we're going to get the difference between the product and 10% that we got, okay? So that is going to be our focus. First of all, we're going to say, we're going to reduce 55 to 50. Then we get a product. So for example, if we have 5 examples we're going to use here. So if you have X, we multiply it by 50, because there's a method that you can use to actualize this one. And then we go and check what is the 10%. And after finding 10%, we say, okay, next thing is, how can we get the difference what's the difference between then the product and the 10% that we get? And that's going to give us the answer, okay? So theory aside, now let's go and do some practice. So we have A here. So we have 23 multiplied by, in this case now, we're going to quickly say, we're going to convert now, we're not going to use 55, but quickly we're going to say we're going to use 50. But if you remember in the previous video, we say any number multiplied by 50, you just basically multiply that number by 100 and divide by 2. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to say now 23 multiplied by that, because now we're going to ignore this 50. And basically, because we know the principle, the rule, we're going to say 23 multiplied by 100, which is going to give us 2300. So that's going to give us, that's going to give us 2300, and just divide by 2. In this case, we're going to get an answer, which is going to be 1150. Okay. Now, in this case, actually, we're not going to get the difference. We're going to get addition, the sum. Sorry for that. When we're dealing with the 45, that's when we get the difference. But when we're getting the 55, it's above 50, so we're going to get the sum. Sorry for that. Now, in this case, we're going to look at 10%. What is 10% of this number? So that means you can just multiply if you want. But also with mental maths, you can just say what is 10%, but I already see 10% there. So that is 115. Okay, so we know that the product was 1,050, and then we want to get to add, then we want to get the sum by adding then 115. So in that case, we have 5, we have 6, we have 2, we have 1. So in that case, we have 1,265 as our answer. Okay, so that one was that simple. Let's do B. I think I will do B this other side so that it's clear. So we have B. So like the 4 steps have to continue. In this case, we talk about addition. So we have 435. If you look at what we did here, we are demoting, or at least reducing 55 to 50, and that actually, from the thought process, should bring us the process of saying we multiply the number by 100, the number that we have by 100, and divide it by 2. Okay, so that is the thought process that goes in, and when you divide that by 2, now you come here and you say it's okay. So we have 2 goes there, 1, 2 goes to 15, 7 times. Okay, and then we still have 10 here. So we have 5 there, 0. Okay, so then we have 21,750. And now the next thing we want to do is to get 10% of this number. As a mental mathematician, you just cancel this 0, and then you have here 2175. So we're going to have here 5, 7, 1, and 2. And that's what we go to do. We're good to go. We just add it, and then we have here 5. Then we have here 12. So 12, we have here 9. Then we have here 3. Then we have here 2. So 23,950 and 25 will be our answer there. So easy and easy. Like there's no shortcut that, So let's look at C. C is here 45. 6, 1. So because we wanted to reduce this, so this is what I say. We are reducing it to 50, and we know that anytime we multiply a number by 50, we just multiply that number by 100. So adding 2 zeros and then divide it by 2. So then quickly we get an answer. You see now, we're now going towards like shortcuts. If you have A, B, C, D to choose from, you are quicker than someone who uses the other method. So in this case now we say 2, 2, 8, 0, 5. Yeah, so this was, and then we have extra 0. And now another thing we want to do is like quickly look at what's the 10% of this number. So that means if you cancel this 0, that's going to be the 10%. So what we're going to do, we're going to repeat the same number by now 5, 0, 8. So under 8 we have 2, and under 2 we have 2. So that's the 10%. So in this case now we're going to add. So in this, so we have 5, 0 plus 5 is going to give us 5, and then we have 5 plus 0 is going to give us 5, and then we have 8 plus 0 is going to give us 8, 8 plus 2 is going to give us 10, so that here we have 5, and then we have 2. So that's going to be our quick answer. Okay, so let's do D. And I want to do D with white pen so that things, so if we take D, so if you you look here, and then you have D is 120, so we're going to just write 120 immediately. And because we want to multiply by 50 now, because we are demoting or reducing this one to 50. So basically what you need to do here is add 2 zeros. And then divide by 2. Okay, so that's going to give us 6,000. Now, 6,000, for us to get a quick answer, we're going to look at what is the 10% of this, of 6,000, so it's going to be 600. So in this case, now we add. So our answer will be quickly 6,600. Easy peasy. No panic. I mean, maths is easy in this case. Now let's look at E. And like I said, the thought process that comes in that should be very quick, and yeah, so that we get everything right. So we have E here. So the quick way to get an answer I will be, take this number. So this one we know what to do with it. So we have here 560 multiplied by 100, just basically adding 2 zeros, dividing by 2. So that's going to give us 28,000. 28,000, if we want to know what is 10% of it, is what we want to add there. So that's going to be 2,800. So in this case, it's addition. So we have 0, 0, 2, 0, 3. So 30,200 is our answer. So thank you so much for watching and listening. I just wanted to show you how to quickly multiply a number by 55.